The summer heat is coming, and maybe it's already hit for you. It can be absolutely brutal on a vegetable garden. Plants stress out, production can completely slow down. But I'm going to share with you today 5 surprisingly simple tips that will help heat-proof your garden. And the best part is, no fancy tools or tons of times required. First off, you've got to have a shade plan before the heat hits. And the reason for this is, once the temperatures get over 85, 90 degrees for several days in a row, the blossoms on your vegetable plants dry up and drop off, your plants stress out, and they really need that shade in order to keep them going through the summer heat. Now, what I like to use is shade cloth. It's porous. Some of the sunlight still gets through, but it does block a portion of the sun's UV rays. There's a few different types of shade cloth you can use that block various percentage of the UV rays. First off, a 40 to 50% shade cloth. You can see the holes are just a little bit bigger, will allow a bit more of the sunlight to get through. Second one is a 60 to 70% shade cloth, which you're going to use when your weather is getting well over 90 to 100 degrees, plus smaller holes, less UV rays get through, more protection for your plants. Now, if you don't have shade cloth, just use an old sheet. It's better than nothing. It is definitely better than fried plants. Installing shade cloth is super easy. Don't overcomplicate it. Simply clip it to your trellises, drape it over your plants in your raised beds, secure it around the edges with clips, or even just improvise. Drape it over your tomato cages or just move lawn chairs in place to shade your plants. Pro tip, keep all of your shade cloth in a bin in your garden shed. Label it according to which garden bed it goes to. Keep your clips in a container nearby. That way you're ready when the heat hits and you don't have to scramble. I've actually done temperature tests, and shade cloth can keep your plants 10 to 15 degrees cooler underneath, which can heat proof them and help them keep producing even in hot temperatures. Once temperatures drop below 90 degrees, remove the shade cloth so plants can get full sun. But I like to leave it clipped to the side of the garden bed for a quick install on a hot day. Next, plant strategically. Use your garden bed's layout to provide natural shade for heat-sensitive plants. For example, here in the chill zone raised bed, I have this small teepee trellis, which has cucumbers growing up it, and it provides a natural shade for the lettuce growing underneath it, and has a little bonus of extra growing space too. I also like to plant strategically in existing shady areas of my garden. For example, here in the garden nook, it gets morning sun, but it gets really nice afternoon shade. So it's shielded from the harsh, hot sun of the day. And I have over 10 to 15 different kinds of greens, herbs, vegetables, and fruits growing in this area, so it can still grow here even in the heat of the summer. Next, use mulch on your garden beds. It's your garden's built-in AC system, especially on hot days. A 2 to 3 inch layer locks in moisture and shields the roots from heat. Just use what you've got, shredded leaves, pine needles, or shredded straw. Especially good protection for brand new plants or seedlings just popping up. Don't just water more in the heat, water smarter. Only water when your plants need it. Use the finger test. Put your finger a few inches in the soil. If it feels dry, it means your plants are thirsty and you need to water. Now, morning wilting typically means dry roots and you need to water them. Afternoon wilting that recovers by evening is just heat stress. So always check your plants to see if they actually need water before you water them. And I always adjust my watering schedule with the weather. If it's hot and windy, I'm going to need to water longer and water more. But if it's cloudy and cool, I can usually stretch the days out between watering. You definitely want to water your plants deeply in the heat. So water, let the water soak in, and then water again so the roots have the water they need to make it through the heat of the day. If you can, use drip irrigation or micro sprayers. I use Mr. Landscaper with a timer for consistent watering that reaches the roots. Next, I like to create little microclimates, especially with my containers. It can keep the plants cooler and create a little bit of humidity on hot, dry, or windy days. And I like to use my taller containers, like my strawberry crate tower here, to create a little bit of natural shade, like for my tomato plant here that might not like the hot days. Now, I like to keep my plants on rolling plant saucers, which is super handy because then I can move them around in the heat of the day, depending on my plant's needs, either for shade or for sunlight. Now, if you don't have rollers, no worries. A lot of my containers here, my smart pots, have handles, which makes them portable to move in and out of the shade or the sun when needed. I also like to put some of my larger containers on brick risers for more airflow and to keep them cooler underneath. For more airflow and to keep them cooler underneath. Maybe you've heard some of these tips before, but maybe some are new to you and can help you in your garden this summer. Leave your favorite heat tip below so all of us gardeners can learn together. As always, I'll be reading the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time in the garden.